We got voice messages to listen to. Go to anchor.fm/podcast, and you can listen to voice messages. We'll do a quicker one this week.
Yeah, it's going to have to be quicker.
He's only got 15 minutes this week.
Hey guys, it's Ellen again from New Zealand. Just wondering if you know what's happened with Rue and Clan of the Grey Wolf. I know, Pat, you were on an episode of Echo Screen Live, and that was a podcast I really enjoyed. So just wonder if you had any idea what those two guys are up to. Thanks a lot.
I'm not sure what is it Dan? I'm not sure what Dan's up to.
Just remember it was the Commodore, but yeah, I don't.
The Commodore. I think it's Dan. Yes, the Commodore. But Rue is living happy. He's developing his LED tech, and we talk on the phone like once or twice a year. And he's enjoyed his YouTube retirement.
Yeah, we usually see him at Portland.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Pat from Boston again. Question for the both of you: as a kid, did you like your lunch in a sack or a box? Or was it called a bag or a pail? Thanks, guys.
A pail?
Keep up the good work.
No, we're not working on a high rise.
It would have been bagged lunch and boxed lunch. No pail, no sack.
Well, lunch box. You had like I had a Transformers lunch box.
I actually liked just taking my lunch in a paper sack.
The weird thing about the thermos, my mom put milk in there. I had milk with my sandwich.
Sometimes I did too as a kid. That was always weird.
So you had like 3 hours to eat it. Like we had lunch pretty early. When you were a kid, you had lunch at like 10:15, 10:30, because we got out at like 2, Catholic school. Sometimes it was still cool. Sometimes a little bit lost the coolness. You don't want to drink room temperature milk, but you had to.
Yeah.
But most of the time, the thermos kept it cool for a few hours.
Yeah, thermoses, they did what they needed to.
It sucked that when it cracked the one time, it would drip out sometimes. I'd open up and it'd be like a little soggy.
Every once in a while, my mom would draw on my lunch bags. I liked that.
Oh, just Transformers. Why did I have a Transformers lunchbox and not G.I. Joe when I liked G.I. Joe a lot more?
I did have that Mario Brothers Zelda 2 lunchbox when I was
I had the Mario 2 one somewhere in here.
No, it was the red one.
Oh, you had one that was both?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think you do too.
I think I do too. All right, next.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Doug from the Reset and Rewind podcast, a show where we talk about every video game movie in chronological order. My question for you guys is, what is your favorite movie based on a video game? Also, what is the worst one you've seen? Love your podcast, and hope you'll check out the Reset and Rewind podcast. Later, I'm off to play some Pokemon Plantum.
Best video game movie? Sonic the Hedgehog. Worst video game movie?
Any of the rest? I don't know.
I haven't seen many of them, but probably any.
I hear the Street Fighter Chun-Li one's really bad for some reason.
Yeah, I've heard that's
like worse
real,
than
real
the original Street Fighter somehow.
The original Street Fighter movie is schlocky enough to be fun, but I think the Chun-Li one was like it was like they tried to get way too much into like backstory, and there was like no street fighting and stuff like that.
Chun-Li lore,
no
one asked for. I think the original Mortal Kombat did it like perfectly.
Oh yeah, that's another good one too.
Perfect. Check out OSW did a 2-hour review of it. It was hysterical.
I might have to go with that, but both of those are very, very good, and I'd recommend them.
Right, next.
Hi, Pat and Ian. Corbin here from England. So back in the 70s and early 80s, space shooters were the biggest genre of video games. Then it became platformers in the 80s and 90s, and for the last 15 to 20 years, it's been first-person shooters. I just wondered if you had any thoughts or predictions about what might be the next big video game genre.
I don't, but that's an interesting way to, look at it. And I don't think anyone who is doing these necessarily I don't think anyone at the time could really say what the next big genre would be. I feel like once you get into 3D space, you have third person and first person, and then I think the next step is virtual reality.
Is there anything left to be discovered?
Right.
Because that's basically the trend it went to. This hasn't been done before. Platforms, now it's big.
A lot of them
shooters.
A lot of them weren't doing it because you couldn't do it. Technically, there was technical restrictions.
Sure.
Now the technical restrictions, there are still some when it comes to virtual reality. But as I've said before, I don't think VR is necessarily ever going to be fully adopted as a replacement to video games because it's too active.
The last breakout genre was probably rhythm games. It's like 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
So I really don't. I hate to sound so boring about it, but I don't know that there's really a whole lot left there to just kind of come out.
Sure.
Hey there, this is Stefan from Maryland, and I have a question. How do you feel about CRT filters for emulated games? I'm not talking the crappy ones where it's just like every other line is dark, but a proper, well-done CRT filter to try to present the original pixel art in a way that it was originally viewed, as opposed to just absolutely perfect squares on a high-def screen. Love the podcast. Thanks.
Yeah, you need filters because we didn't play things looking all nice and clean. We played with fuzzy CRT monitors, and a lot of time they did the art around CRT. So like to do like certain weird shading effects and stuff that is wiped away when you do it all clean on an emulator. And plus the colors are sometimes different. So I'm for any sort of filters that get closer, whether it's an emulator or an FPGA solution.
I'm absolutely all for them.
Yeah, sure.
I just don't think I saw one and Jesus, now I wish I could remember what it was that I was like, hey, that looks really good. But for the most part, I just don't think we're there yet. I mean, I agree they're important, absolutely, if you want to see these games how they were supposed to be seen. I just don't think we've gotten any that really quite nail it.
Hey, Pat. Hey, Ian. It's Brad from Whippany again.
Hey, buddy.
I was just wondering, if you ever tried something in a video game that you found so intriguing that you decided to either research it in real life or actually do it in real life? You know, like you played Pilot Wings growing up, and you're like, you know what? I want to do some skydiving. Or some cooking media to try out some new recipes or anything like that. Thanks. Bye.
No, but I thought about for a little bit trying to be a paperboy because of the video game. Like that looks like a cool job. Throwing newspapers on your BMX. I thought that would be a cool job. Kevin was a paperboy, and I went on his route with him sometimes after school. He did like the afternoon delivery.
Nice. Yeah, I was a paperboy too, but not because of the game. No, I wish I had a better answer. That's a really cool question, but can't think of anything. I'd love to hear answers from people where that is the truth. But I can't think of anything I tried because of a video game.
Yeah, because what video games are so just real life based that you could try something, I wonder. It's not a huge amount of.
Well, like I mean, you could say. I mean, for instance, you know, if someone picked up archery because they were playing something, you know, something like that.
Hey guys, this is Aaron from the Hungry Trilobite podcast. I have a question that kind of connects to your discussion of eBay from last week. Do you guys remember what newsgroup auctions were like before eBay either came around or before it got really big? It used to be a viable alternative that we've kind of left behind. Do you have any memories of that? Talk soon.
Not really. I remember watching some for like pinball machines and stuff, but I have very little recollection of what those were like.
Unfortunately, I was only on my Highlander TV news group back in the mid to late 90s. It was probably me and a bunch of like middle-aged women that were out there talking about the TV show, and I did not get on. I never even thought about that as a possibility.
I see that sort of. I see like a return. It's interesting that he brings.
Are
that
these
up,
groups still around? Do people still use those?
Pinballers do.
They still do.
I've seen an interesting kind of thing like that though with artists. I've seen artists kind of return to that where they will auction off like character art or an adopt, they call them on Twitter. And it's basically the same thing. For 24 hours, reply with the new bid after the last bid, you know, and people buy things that way and there's no fees or anything like that. I mean, I think that it probably works for small communities that are fairly well policed where you feel safe and confident.
I'll do a few more here.
Hey guys, Eddie from Las Vegas. With a lot of the recent shadiness going on with graded games and games selling for much higher than they normally would, and also having multiple buyers owning a fraction of the game, is there a possibility this is being used as a money laundering technique? I'm reminded of recent history when people were using in-game currency to wash their money, and I believe it was Call of Duty. Anyways, thank you guys.
The reason I'll say no is because usually money laundering happens in an established market, like it's been around for a bit. Like it'd be weird to try to money launder and also try to establish that market with that money, if that makes sense.
Yes, possible. Yeah,
Right.
Likely. No, I don't think there's actually any money laundering going on.
Huge amount of collusion and backdoor dealing that's obviously we've talked about and been proven right about. That's what's been happening here.
Hey, Pat and Ian. Just curious if you could give everyone a rundown of the history behind the intro theme song. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye.
Okay, so CFOs were a fan of the podcast. They did the WWE themes forever. They don't anymore.
Super long time. Yeah, they don't anymore.
And they reached out and said, hey, we'll do a theme song for you. I'm like, okay. I think it was for the 100th episode. I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
That's for the 100th episode. Then the remix for the 200th. And then I wrote them lyrics. I sort of try to hum a melody to them over the phone while I was in Norway. And then they did it, and it was fucking great. And it's great. And it is great.
Great dudes.
Mike.
I really enjoyed having dinner with them. I every once in a while, Mike and I will text about music we haven't recently, which makes me think I should probably give them a text.
I haven't texted him in a while either.
It's probably been about a year and a half.
So, all right, we will do. Want to do just one more?
Just one more. I gotta go.
Okay. Think someone's checking in with all the great news?
I would hope so.
Big news! The Amico physical products are officially ready for your money. Shelves, ready for your shelves. But you can only buy them in packs of 4 or packs of 8. Hey, you do it with hot dog buns. I don't understand what the problem is. But for everyone still saying, Finnegan Fox is not exclusive, I put it right on the back of the box. Hey kids, fun fact! Finnegan Fox is loosely based on the 2018 crowdfunded pixel art platformer Fox and Forest. Isn't that fun? By the way, if you want to know why I was using text from Star Fox in the intro for Moon Patrol, let me read you what the team originally came up with. To whom it may concern, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Call me Ishmael. You see, so I showed it to Miyamoto-san, and he's like, you know what, dude, just take Star Fox. I don't even like it anymore. You man!
Well, there you go. Now we know how Tommy got the rights to use the Star Fox.
Thanks for clearing that up, Tom.
We know Miyamoto-san was looking over your shoulder and be like, all right, I want that in there. He's done with Star Fox.
Miyamoto-san's your guardian angel.